And so cook it ourselves. What's that look like for you? Well, actually, the very first thing we need to do is learn to store our food properly. Would you not agree? And so I will tell you that my refrigerator, I absolutely love. And I am going to show you my refrigerator as I turn this over to Ellen, and she goes through some of these numbers of what it means to buy your own Fridge Smart and your own produce and cut it up yourself.
It goes to my mind when I blow the store or go to the store and I see these cut up carrot sticks, these cut up celery sticks versus celery stalks and carrots and regular carrots, right? And I look at those, and not only are they there pre-cut and like you're paying top dollar for these, right? Not only are they there like that, but then on top of that, they are a lot of times the ends are dried out, right? They don't look as fresh, they don't look as tasty, and it absolutely blows my mind that people buy it. Clearly, people buy it, or otherwise it still wouldn't be on the shelves all these years later. But then you look at, and that's not even on this picture, but think about, have you ever seen zoodles, right? The zucchini noodles and the carrot noodles and the broccoli noodles, those are outrageous, the prices that they charge for that stuff. When we know how much a zucchini is, right? And we know how little it takes to turn that into noodles, right? And it's crazy. And then those platters, right? These like fresh cut vegetable platters, just stop it right now. First off, they never look as fresh as that picture right there. I'm just going to say that right there. Okay, you look at it, and they're never as full as that, too. Like it's like 20 bucks. If you're lucky, it's $20, and it barely has the amount that's in that picture. And yeah, I'd rather buy it myself and cut it up. You're absolutely right, Debbie. It's crazy. It's crazy. So I do teacher luncheons at the school, and it is so funny because people will bring these in, and we bring in our serving centers, and we will freshen it all up and we'll cut it up. And at the last teacher luncheon, my friend and I looked at each other and we're like, let's next year, let's not ask them to bring veggie trays. Let's just tell them to bring a bag of carrots, stalks of celery, and cucumber. Let's just ask them to bring the ingredients, and we will just cut all this stuff up ourselves, because we always have to do so much work to freshen it up and make it look presentable. It's just not even worth it. And these people are wasting their money. I mean, it's just absolutely mind blowing. So yeah, so think about the amount of money that you save yourself by buying the broccoli crowns and cutting them up yourself versus buying the bag of florets and things along those lines. And just think about when you communicate that at your parties, in reels, in your Facebook lives, in your VIP groups, all of the things. Just think about how much money and how that, if you can even just turn the light bulb on for one of your customers who's going to share it with a girlfriend, who's going to share it with another friend, their sister, their cousin, all of that, you will be their connection, because they're like, oh my gosh, they were talking. I was like, duh, you're absolutely right. And then they'll start seeing it everywhere they go, and they're going to think of you. So I think Pam is ready for us. So we ready to come to your kitchen, Pam? Please. All right, let me stop the screen share so we got full Pam kitchen. All right, take it away.
All right, so I love my fridge smarts a lot. Later. Okay, just hold this, Joe. Okay, I love my fridge smarts a lot. I love, ooh, the sun is really coming in on me. I love them because I like to, they're part of my system, and they were gonna help me make sure that I am using and not throwing away my vegetables. And so my fridge smarts, I told Joe to make sure it was clean. This is what we do all the time, fridge smarts, okay? And so, are you seeing that? Are you seeing it okay? All right, so this is my refrigerator. My mixed greens, my oranges and apples, my watermelon, sliced up watermelon. Also my carrots. Over here's my pineapple. Oh, that looks delicious. I need to eat some. And back there are my grapes, and here is my green beans. Up here is some celery. And so fridge smarts work overtime in my kitchen. Would you not agree? And it saves me so much money. When I'm taking my fruits and vegetables and cutting them up myself, I'm not only getting better quality, I'm saving a ton of money. Not just because I'm not throwing them away because they last so much longer, but because if you're buying them, and you're buying those little prepackaged, you're paying double a lot of times what you would pay if you did it yourself. Now, when it comes to spiralizing, it's 100 times worse. All right, so if you don't have a spiralizer, you need to get one because it can make a huge difference. Okay, so this was the pineapple, the cantaloupe, the watermelon, $2.70. I'm sorry, 2.7 ounces, 2 pounds 70 ounces, 13.49, or a whole watermelon for $7.19.
Crazy.
Yeah, strawberries and berries, 1.5 pound each, $9.76, or 2 pounds of strawberries for $11.99. The grapes, 80 ounces, $3.99, or 2 pounds for $6.98. And look at this, the home cut fruit vegetable tray. You can make it yourself, or you can pay for $34, or you can pay $64 for them to do it. That is a $30 for them to cup up your fruit. I mean, how long does it really take you? And how valuable is your time? Well, how valuable is your money? Okay. And so next we have the pantry, and it goes to Loretta. Go ahead, Loretta.
I'm going to take you into my pantry. All right. I didn't really want to be in the picture, but anyway, guys, look at this. My spice carousels. I have two of them here. I'm trying to like show it to you because I can't really see the camera, but everything is labeled. Everything is organized. I can send someone into my pantry. They can find their what I'm looking for. But honestly, the best part is it saves me money. It saves me money. I will buy, if you look right here, my rolled oats. Okay, I get that big, I think it's about 5 pound bag from Costco, and I put the bulk of it in here. But then I have some oats in the um, smaller one right here. Okay, that I use every day because it's easier to handle and to open and to pour out of that one. And then I have another one at my mom's house. So I'll break it up. So I have my big giant containers that have my bulk that I buy from Costco, and the big giant like baking soda. I use baking soda a lot. I use baking soda to clean everything. So I am not going to buy those little tiny boxes and all of that. I'm going to buy the big I don't know how many pounds. I think it's like 13 pounds of baking soda, okay? And there's one by every sink. That is what I clean my bathrooms with and my sinks and everything, and a lot of other things, of course, baking and all that kind of stuff. But you will save a ton of money, and it doesn't matter. I don't have a big family. It's me, my mommy, and she doesn't eat a lot, and my husband. Okay, well, he does eat a lot. But guys, I can still buy in bulk because these guys, I've got marshmallows down here. Okay, I can't tell you because my kids are older and they don't need marshmallows, but they're still in there. They're a couple years old and they're still soft. Okay, and if I could use my hands right now, I'd open up and show you, but I can't. Okay, but look, and plus, you feel happy. You feel happy because you know where your ingredients are and it's easy to make that shopping list.
And you do have a beautiful pantry. But honestly, guys, if you just have a cupboard, you're going to save space because it's kind of like a big basket of laundry. When you fold it, it condenses. And that's exactly what happens with the Module Mates. When you take everything out of the pre-packaging that you bring into your home, that's been through warehousing and been through trucks and been handled by lots of people, it's not sanitary. And when you put it in the Module Mates, which are because you washed them yourself, and put it in your pantry, you're going to save space. And so think about, how can I make this work for me and prolong the life of my pantry goods and not have to replace them because, oh my goodness, they're outdated because I didn't use them yet. Put it in front of you. The vision is amazing to see what you have and to use it and not have 3 bags of rolled oats or 3 bags of flour or 2 bags of sugar, brown sugar. That's the bad one. I always had way too much brown sugar. Not anymore. Organized and ready to go. And so, again, we want to go back to our screen here and share. So the before and the after, how beautiful is that? A huge, huge difference. And guys, if you do nothing else, the spice carousel and the spice, whether you use it on the carousel or like this, wow, what a game changer and what a difference. And this is exact same food, guys. We took nothing away. We just changed it into the Module Mates. Look how organized that is. Crazy. Huge difference in your pantry or in your cupboard, either way. And this is another great picture to just show you whether you use cereal stores or Module Mates or the spice guys, it's all good. Now let's go to our freezer. How can we use a system in our freezer to save money? Ellen?
All right, so I'm going to talk to you about freezer mates because I
love my freezer mates. Like love my freezer mates. And I have to be honest with you, it took me a minute to like get on board with freezer mates, not because just because I don't know. Sorry. I'm trying to see. Hold on. There we go. All right. Just because when I first started, the first thing I kind of grabbed onto was the fridge smarts, because that was like my first need, right? And then as I kind of like grew in the business, then I started with the modular mates because that was my next organizational need. And then I started kind of playing around with freezer mates. But it wasn't until probably about 8 years ago that I really, and honestly, it was about 8 or 9 years ago when I got diagnosed with celiac, right? So when I got diagnosed with celiac, and that's where you can't have gluten and all that stuff. And gluten's like in everything, okay? Like everything. So I just don't really eat a lot of processed foods. So that kind of knocks out like freezer meals and all of that kind of stuff. Those quick things that you can just like grab and go. And honestly, it's a blessing in disguise because it forces me to eat better, cook everything, right? Cook myself. And it really made me pay attention to ingredients. And so over the years, it's just kind of turned into just kind of whole food eating, right? And I feel better. You know, I saw I think it was Amanda made a comment in the chat about, you know, she feels so much better when she just like cooks not from a box and it's more like whole food eating, right? Totally the same, right? So so these are fantastic, right? So this is the full set of the freezer mates. And one of the things that I want to share with you about the freezer mates is they're perfectly designed for air circulation in your freezer, right? So air can kind of go in between them and all that. And the reason why you want that air circulation is it helps with even freezing, right? So things will freeze really fast in these in the freezer. Now, I'll share with you one of my favorite sizes is actually this little guy. This little guy is hands down my favorite size. I have a gazillion of this size because a lot of times, like, this is like sort of a lean cuisine size, right? This is like a one portion size. And so I have a pretty busy and hectic life. I thought I was going to get slower, like when one of my kids went to college, the other one's an adult, and we just kind of have James is the one that we have to like cart around and do all the things with. But you know what? It is not slower. And I don't know what's up with that, but it's just not. And so so I still find myself needing to prep food a lot. So I still don't have like a day where I can like, it's my meal prep day and I can like take a whole day and do a whole bunch of meal prep. And someday I will. And I'm super envious of those people that do that and they do all the videos and stuff. And occasionally I can take a day and do a little bit of meal prep. But here's how I meal prep, right? So I cook like double, triple batches a lot of times. I never adjusted my cooking when anybody comes and goes out of the house, right? And so I cook double and triple batches. So before I call anybody down for dinner, I lay out 4 to 6 of these guys and I go ahead and fill them up. Bam, I've meal prepped like 6 meals, okay? And it's just like that easy. And then I leave them sitting out on the counter while we're eating dinner. By the time we're done, they're nice and cool because you want to let it cool off before you put the tops on and before you put it in the freezer. All right, so that's one of the things I absolutely love. Now, let's talk about freezer safety and all that kind of jazz, because I had a customer that at a party, I was talking about freezer burn and they were like, we were talking about freezer burn and I said, so here's the thing with our containers, because they're airtight and liquid tight, and because the way our freezers, do you guys remember when freezers they weren't like self-defrosting and you had to like, I don't know, a couple times a year, like go in there and like thaw it all out because you had like a layer like this of like frozen all around. I remember my mom would pull everything out and then she'd get the boiling water and she'd go out and melt it and chip away. It was a big production. I remember it very vividly. And so, so now we have self-defrosting freezers, right? It's a blessing and a curse, right? The curse is that it dries out our food really bad. The blessing is we don't have to like pull out the pots and make a whole day of defrosting the freezer, right? But the curse is it dries our food out really bad. Because of that process, it's constantly self-defrosting, right? It ends up pulling the moisture out of our food, but not when we have them in our freezer mates because they're airtight and liquid tight. Right? And so that moisture stays inside this container. So what happens though is you will see some ice crystals in here, right? But it's trapped in here. So when you thaw these out, you put them in the refrigerator to thaw out, that moisture will stay in the food. Or even if you a lot of times I don't thaw them out in the refrigerator because I'm just grabbing and I'm going to eat this for lunch, right? And they're so flexible. All I have to do is pull here and I pull here, I turn it down, I push in the center and I pop it right out into a microwave safe container. All those ice crystals go with it. So then that kind of serves to help steam the food and it just heats it up so beautifully and it comes out so great. And I tell my customers, you know, if you do not have a microwave safe container, don't stress about that. Put it in a bowl or something, put it in what you got until you get a microwave safe container. But I don't recommend microwaving in these because they do have a coating on the inside now to keep them from staining and all of that. And it will kind of damage that coating if you do put it in the microwave. However, that coating is amazing because I have containers before we had that coating and they all kind of have a little bit of an orangey sort of pinkish tint to them. Not these guys. I have these guys stacked up high, like when they're not in use, and there's no orange or anything tint on them, right? So it definitely works. And I don't do anything special to keep that from happening. So the other thing that's really cool about this is that they do nest really beautifully. So when they're not in use, you're not looking at a ton of storage for that. Look at that. It's so fantastic for you. It'll make it super easy. Now, this is also really great for pre-portioning meat. So I know that Pam has a slide that's talking about buying meat and all of that, and you can buy your meat in bulk. And when you buy your meat in bulk, you really want to go ahead and pre-portion it for the sizes that you're going to use. So say you buy ground beef and you want to pre-portion it for like 1 pound, 2 pound sizes, because a lot of times that's what you need for casseroles, for certain recipes. A lot of times it calls for 1 pound of meat. And so this right here, these freezer mates, this size right here is about 1 pound of ground beef, raw ground beef. This is about 1 pound. Now this size here you see is about 2 of these, right? So this is about 2 pounds of ground beef. So that's perfect for that. So I just absolutely, I can't say enough good things. And the thing that I love about the smaller size too, is because if I want, got it. If I want one size, right, I want one portion just for me, I can grab out one. But if there's somebody else, like if Eric wants some too, we can grab out 2, right? But if I have it frozen in here and I just want one portion for me, I gotta thaw out this whole big thing. And then somebody's gonna have to eat the other half at a later time, right? So I love that with these smaller portions, if I'm gonna feed 4 people, I'll pull out 4 of these, right? But if I'm just feeding myself, I can just pull out 1. And that's what I like about these smaller ones versus some of the bigger containers. Also, the bigger containers take longer to thaw. They also take longer to freeze. And you know what happens when things take a long time to freeze? They spend a lot more time in the danger zone, which is the temperature that bacteria grows, right? So you don't want that. You want things to get cold really fast as you possibly can. That's why it's so great that air circulates around our containers to help it freeze really quickly. So, and then this is such a great size too. And you know what I love for this size? I love to flash freeze in this because I remember years ago hearing this great like demonstration. It was like, flash freeze your fruits so that way they're all separate and then you can go in and grab whatever you want, all the things, right? And so they were like, just take a cookie tray and put it in your freezer. I was like, lady, you think I got space in my freezer for a whole cookie tray? You're crazy. But you know what I do with space for? I get space for this. So I can go ahead and lay out some of my fruit in here. And so that way I can like flash freeze it for, it takes usually 6-8 hours, just kind of depends upon whether you have a deep freeze or how many people are going in and out of your freezer. And so you can flash freeze your fruits in here and then you can pull them out and put them into a bigger container. So that way you have a nice mix of frozen fruits before they go bad out of your fridge smarts, right? And so you can kind of save them right before they go bad. But I love this size for fruits. I love it for baked goods to be able to store in the freezer. I also love it for meats too. I love it for hot dogs. I like it for sausage and things like that too. So many great things you can do with your freezer mates, and they will help save you so much money in prepping, being able to prep food. I love having kind of like half recipes done, but I also love having full recipes done in my freezer mates in the freezer just for those busy days, right? So back to you, Pam.
All right. Thank you so much. And I love all the comments that you guys are making. Please put in the chat group, the different ideas that you use your modular mates for, or your freezer mates for, or your Fridge Smart's for. And I love Amanda. She says, I really did notice it myself recently when cooking with pre-made dinners like Hamburger Helper compared to getting the noodles and the sauce and everything else separately and making it myself. My husband eats a lot, and we used to spend $200 on food that last 2 weeks to a month. After starting making the food myself, I went to 2 months. Only thing to restock is the stuff like the milk and whatnot. So this really does work. He needed 3 plates worth of Hamburger Helper to feel full, and lately here at home it's only one instead. Guys, there's preservatives in those meals those pre-made meals that are destroying us, and they will take you and they literally make you gain weight. Oh my gosh, I know, right? And they also they mess with your metabolism and make you eat more than you need to eat. And so please know this is a very good post from Amanda. Amanda, I hope you don't mind if I don't steal that one. All right. And so but lots of great prep ideas here and sharing. And this is what we love about our team is sharing is caring. So put in that chat what you love so much about the Modular Mates or the Fridge Smarts or the Fridge Smarts. Okay. All right. So back to our screens here real quick, because I want to finish this. This is the difference in price when it comes to your meat. Regular price, $8.99. But on sale, it's $3.99. So why not get it ahead of time and freeze it so you're ready to go? Regular price on chicken, $8.99, but on sale it's $4.44. You guys have seen these sales, but are you using the sales to save you money because you're using your Fridge Smarts? Regular price on chicken, a whole chicken, $4.49, but on sale $1.99. And your salmon, $17.99, on sale $8.99. Regular price on your pork fillets, $6.99, on sale $2.88. All right. Regular price on your cut up meats and your cut up beef stew, $10.99, and on sale $4.99. Regular price on your butter, another thing you can freeze. Regular price is $7.99, on sale $4.88. So showing you how to save money using your Tupperware to save you money, and these beautiful meals in freezers and on how you can freeze ahead. And I will tell you, this is your chicken that you buy, a whole chicken, rotisserie yourself in your oven or in your microwave, whatever you prefer. Gives you great chicken broth. It gives you great diced up chicken and chicken for meals. And so, boy, how smart is that? And making your budget really stretch when you're planning ahead and making meals ahead. Now, I use freezer labels. You can use freezer tape. You can buy stuff on Amazon to get that. And so that you have everything labeled. And so you're not guessing, what is this? Is it chili or is it taco stew, meat or spaghetti sauce? No guessing. Label it when you put it away and it comes off very easily for you. So the before and the after and that beautiful freezer and how fun it is to go in there and find something that you're going to have ready for dinner and eating in just a few minutes.